Hi everyone, this is Francisco, and I know all of you out there are just trying to listen to what I want to say. You people are probably thinking, what does this motherfucker gotta say this time? You motherfuckers are out there just watching me. Just waiting to see what the fuck I do. But it's not about me. I wrote down some notes here that I want to share with everyone. So I'm going to turn on my lights. Nosy ass bitches. And I wrote down AI technology, autonomous crime case solving. And here it is. Here are my notes. That's page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Oh, I don't have a page 4. Well, I guess I could have wrote more, but I do have to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning to go to work, so I'm just trying to get this out of my mind. And I wrote down humanoid robots, cameras, videos, audio recordings, etc. And this is pretty much like I'm trying to write it down kind of like a list form. I think like a list format, something neat and professional. Okay, but I just don't have the means to do it. Or like what is it? Adobe, not Photoshop, but I think it's called InDesign. Like this, kind of like a magazine or like a newsletter, something presentable. So yeah, you guys can just picture that. Okay, but yeah, what I'm thinking about is something like the Autonumuis humanoid robots. And I know there's a bunch of other robots out there. Okay, but this is what I'm thinking for, with all of this and with AI technology, especially because it's self-programming and self-learning, amongst other things. Okay, so I was watching I've been watching a lot of videos through YouTube, and there was a case that detectives figured out because there was an accident that happened, and there was a paint transfusion, like a paint transfer. So paint transfer on a car. Well, it says removal, but whatever. Let me see if I can. Yeah, like this. So right here on this red car, there's this yellow paint transfer, indicating that this vehicle was involved with some type of collision, and the friction from the heat that is produced, because people don't really understand how fast these vehicles and how powerful these vehicles are, and how much friction is created when two objects rub against each other. But anyways, so there was this professional detective guy that was able to figure out the color of the hit and run vehicle that I believed caused someone else to pass away. So before I get into my notes, there is Tesla.com/AI, and it's clear within this documentation that it says something about patterns. Let me just read it. Tesla Optimus create a general purpose bipedal autonomous humanoid robot capable of performing unsafe, repetitive, or boring tasks. Achieving that end goal requires building the software stacks that enable balance, navigation, perception, and interaction with the physical world. Or hiring deep learning, computer vision, motion planning, controls, mechanical, and general software engineers to solve some of our hardest engineering challenges. Let me see. Well, I don't know. Let me see. Well, I know AI technology is big on pattern recognition. Okay. So at the end of the day, all this really comes down to. Okay, and I'm going to read this, and I'm going to interrupt my reading periodically. Okay. But I know AI technology is big on pattern recognition, and these are reoccurring incidents and accidents that happen all the time. Okay, and I don't want to jump in to the back of this, to the my end notes, but I wrote down right here that something about pattern recognition, and at the end of the day, that's what this all really comes down to, because it's reoccurring stuff. And like I said, I don't want to jump to the end of my notes, but just to quickly share a little bit, I wrote down something about pattern recognition, because freaking there's okay, because people forget things first and foremost, and then it doesn't matter if you're a trainee or a seasoned professional. Trainees have to learn everything from scratch. Students have to learn everything from scratch. And even seasoned professionals have to they have to deal with their own lives, their own personal issues, and etc, etc, etc. And unfortunately, some of these trained professionals end up passing away. Okay, unfortunately. So with AI technology, it never forgets. So I believe, like in my notes here, I believe these humanoid robots should be made available to the public and exposed to the public, because they are is AI technology is based practically immortal. Okay, it will always be here, regardless of what will happen to us humans. So 100 years from now, AI technology will still be around, including the humanoid robots. So just like the self-drivable vehicles, driving around and doing stuff out there autonomously. Although I did hear in the news not that long ago that there was a company that offers like taxi service to people. I heard that it was running red lights, which I believe AI technology should have picked up on it and corrected that all by itself autonomously. But the news reporter guy said that they did something manually. They programmed it not to do that. Whatever the fuck that means. If AI technology is as smart as I think, it should be auto-correcting itself regardless of what people do or what hackers attempt to do. So that's just what I believe. But there was a bunch of other stuff here that I wrote down, including these robots becoming RoboCops. Okay, so RoboCops, and I actually did hear that they do have one in the city of Dubai. Something Dubai. See, so they do have one in the city of Dubai. And this is the type of stuff that I'm referring to. Okay, so I wrote down vehicle accidents, crashes, detecting clues like paint transfers, which I showed you guys here. Paint transfers, missing parts from other vehicles, fingerprints, clothing pattern recognition, and then I wrote down etc. Okay, but the clothing pattern recognition is something that can be picked up with CCTV, and CCTV is basically the closed circuit television video surveillance or TV or something like that. I'm not really sure. It's called CCTV, closed circuit something. But anyways, it's obviously looking at everything. Okay, so when I wrote down clothing pattern recognition, it will scan the clothing or any items in any and all crime scenes, and based on the clothing or other stuff, the surrounding items, it will use that to its advantage, and it will connect people wearing that type of clothing, depending on the case. Okay, but for instance, like if there's a little girl that was wearing a white dress and she got kidnapped, and then that dress is in the passenger side of a vehicle, AI technology will be able to recognize that dress, the fabric, and the patterns, and pinpoint it back to that girl that was wearing that dress. Especially because there's other cameras, CCTV cameras, that recorded her prior to this crime. Okay? So I'm just using that as an example. I didn't write it here, but like other modifications, if any, AI technology can also bring that up or pick up on those things, because it knows every single industry, every single business, and how they work, and how they weld, if there's any welding, any painting. And I even wrote down somewhere around here, I think it was page 3. I wrote down irregular cleaning patterns. So, you know, it will basically pick up on just little signs, telltale, something telltale signs, and then not just that, but if it's studying other people and how they're cleaning, and if their cleaning is identical or closely related to the cleaning of professionals, especially people through YouTube, they're recording themselves all the time, and they're sharing videos of how they clean. So if they ever commit a crime, AI technology will be able to pick up on how they clean and how thoroughly they clean or not, which could be evidence against them, which could be evidence that could be used against them. Okay. And there's I think AI technology includes like every single business out there, any business you people can think of. Even like roads, and the spacing, the stripes. I think they're spaced out every 25 feet, and then there's skid marks, and the skid marks, depending on how many feet they are, detectives could figure out how fast the vehicle was traveling at, and a bunch of other information that could reveal or expose a different story. Okay, so I believe that humanoid robots should arrive to crime scenes and record everything as it is, and obviously it will be scanning for fingerprints, spilt objects, spilt fluids, things that are just out of the ordinary. If anything's broken, and not just that, but these recordings could be attached to the case for future investigation or investigations or whatever, like future investigating, and to perfect the technology, as well as AI technology doing that all by itself as well, without any human interaction. Okay, so I believe that this is what all of us really need to work on, because I think that people think everything's a joke, and people think that they can do things and get away with it. So I think that this will help future generations to understand that life is not a joke, and that they will be held responsible for their actions. Okay, including older people who want to manipulate the younger generation, or their peers, or their friends, or just random people, because there's a lot of that going on. So AI technology, depending on who's speaking and what they're saying, AI technology will understand their voice. It will understand what they're talking about. It will understand if they're trying to manipulate other people or not. It will also understand what type of job these people are involved in, and how they communicate at work, as opposed to when they're not at work. So this is very big, because there's a lot of people out there who are two-faced. They play one part at work, and they're a whole different person when they're out of work. Okay, so I wrote down some examples here, kind of like bullet points in my notes. I wrote down like, for example, blood splatter, pattern recognition in murder cases, etc. There's a lot of people who study this. Blood splatter recognition, crime detective students. And there's a whole class on this stuff. Okay, and it takes a lot of years, a lot of months, a lot of training to understand every single little thing. Okay, like this, for example, how blood is splattered on a wall and at what direction, which says a lot regarding where exactly a person was shot at, the direction the bullet came from, and stuff like that, of that nature, which a lot of people don't understand unless they're trained. So if the humanoid robots arrive on the scene, and they're recording everything, but what I can picture is it being able to analyze everything and kind of create like a story of how everything played out, that type of thing. So it's like I even write here in here, I wrote down that it's going to require a lot of programmers and AI technology working side by side, including other countries working together on page 3. Because this is not just for the United States of America or Mexico or Canada or Iran or for freaking Iraq or for China. This is for everyone. Okay? I wrote down AI facial and weapon detection. That's another example right there. Another bullet point. Okay? AI technology is able to pick up on facial and weapon detection, facial recognition, and weapon detection. As a lot of people think, oh, if I wear a mask, people won't know who I am, but that's not true. A lot of people have been caught with like the gas station door. What is it? Height. Measurements. Okay, so every gas station has this this thing on the door, and it basically shows the feet. And there's actually a documentary or something that I watched in the past where someone actually got caught committing a crime because they went in there with guns, like these guys, and they had masks, and they thought that they wouldn't be able to figure out who they were or whatever. But later on, they figured it out based on the person's height and I believe the person's weight. And there's a bunch of other factors as well. Which, I'm not the professional, okay? But I know there's a lot of professionals. So it's all about educating AI technology regarding these things and putting AI technology on this level and having it do everything autonomously. So it could take out all these people with brain knowledge out of the picture, and so that AI could really get in and dive deeper in these things without people or the military trying to get involved and fucking it up for everyone and slow dragging the whole process. Okay? So I also wrote down AI self-checkout detection. A lot of people are getting caught, stealing from the self-checkouts. From the self-checkout, the self-checkout stuff, these scanners or whatever. So it's getting smarter, and there's a lot of people working on this, and they're picking up on little glitches that people never really thought about in the beginning. And as people get caught, they're perfecting what these other people thought of and they got away with for who knows how long before they got caught. And then they were open about it, so therefore they corrected what they didn't foresaw. So AI technology will also think like us humans, and it will understand our craftiness, our lies, the whole 9 yards. And it's going to do its best to serve humankind, so it could benefit everyone. Okay, because there's a lot of fucked up people out there with mental issues and shit like that. Okay, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm just coming up with this stuff. I'm writing it down, and I'm just sharing it with all of you because I really believe in this stuff. And there's a lot of stuff out there that's going on, especially through the news and natural disasters taking out a bunch of houses and a lot of families, and dividing a lot of families. Like, just look at the Palisades fire, the tsunamis out there in Florida, the tornadoes, and then there's like the war over there in Israel with whatever countries attacking Israel. Okay, so it's not just natural disasters that are dividing people. It's also war that's dividing people. And that's exactly what the enemy wants. The devil. In the Bible, in John 10:10, I think it's John 10:10. Let me see. John 10:10. It says that the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But Jesus didn't come to do that, but to give life to everyone. Yeah, right here. The thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. It says, I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. So war is dividing people. It's exactly what the enemy wants. He wants everyone to be confused, to not understand what's really going on, and they get scattered. They're not around, people are not around, themselves, people that they know, people that they recognize, their friends, their neighbors. Families get divided. I think it's a tactic of the enemy to take advantage of them. So that's why I recorded other videos where I'm talking about how we can use AI technology and how we should use AI technology to build homes while they get destroyed. So as they get destroyed, AI technology will rebuild them. And each home that this company will build will be made much stronger and smarter, so as to not lose the homes, or so that the homes won't be destroyed, but will be able to resist anything that Mother Nature throws at it, to keep people united, and to keep people, to keep the community together. Okay. But yeah, I also wrote, similar to professional investigators training, but AI technology will never forget any data and will not be retrained like newcomers and or new trainees new trainees are required to. AI technology will be beyond intellectual and will provide a list of useful information, including random conclusions, possibilities as to how to solve the case for real investigators to look into, as it considers other outcomes and or searching deeper through other technological avenues like CCTV, etc., autonomously, plus providing key facts for future investigators in the event that the case goes unsolved for a number of years. For example, list of possible suspects. Oh, and I forgot to mention, with their images and IDs included, their digital profiles, and any and all emails and websites and anything that they do through the internet, any business that they sign up to will be all connected and linked to every single person, but in this case just the suspects. Okay, so AI technology will already have all this stuff in mind. Okay, and other evidence to highly consider due to the lack of technology, etc. Okay, so it's going to provide the list of other evidence to highly consider due to the lack of evidence, etc. Because earlier I wrote down, plus it will provide key facts for future investigators in the event that the case goes unsolved for a number of years. And then I wrote down, for example, list of possible suspects and other evidence to highly consider due to the lack of technology, etc. Okay, so yeah, it will keep everything documented and neat for people to basically have a blueprint of each and every single case without having to speak to anyone. It says, while considering other factors, for instance, skid marks on a highway, freeway, road, etc., or blood splatters, irregular cleaning patterns, and other obvious telltale signs out of the million leads that AI technology obviously provides, and that it could provide. Okay, now, so not a lot of people are trained. They could never amount to all the training that these humanoid robots could possess and have, you know, because, okay, look at it like this. Not that long ago, Steve Jobs came out talking about, you know, there's like 2,000 songs or tracks in the iPod could hold, I think it was like 10,000 songs. You know, back in that time. It says, yes, many iPod models could hold 10,000 songs or more. And that's when Steve Jobs was around, when Steve Jobs was alive, and he was on he was doing this like a commercial or whatever. Okay, so right now a lot of people can't even download 10,000 apps. You know, apps, you people know apps, right? Cell phone, apps. Some people can't even download 10,000 apps because they require, everyone's downloading everything, like all the code or whatever. I don't know what the fuck it is. You know, it's not just like a website that stores all the data and everything, and all you people have to do is go on the website and log in and, you know, do what you have to do to spend your day in comfort, you know, or to have some form of entertainment. Okay, well, I barely download like 10 apps and my phone is complaining about storage. You know, so I'm bringing this up because a lot of people, they instantly say, well, AI technology can't hold all this data. It's just too much data. You know, and that's an obvious problem that people have against AI technology, and they're just assuming that AI technology doesn't have the capacity and capabilities or capability to be able to harness all the data of the world, and then not just that, but applying it to every copycat or duplicated humanoid robots. But I believe that this will eventually be the the end goal. And to me, I don't mind writing million leads on here. 1 million leads, possible outcomes. Okay, because it's going to be thinking outside of the box. As a matter of fact, I believe that it will be able to like see when people are premeditating things, and they will be able to know when they plan on executing those plans, and it will be able to practically perform crime preventative measures. It will be able to prevent it will be able to prevent things that people are thinking of doing before they do it, based on certain things that it picks up on, including body language, abnormal activities, cell phone activity, messages, phone calls, weird driving patterns, and stuff of that nature. And depending on their mood, how they're getting at people, whether they're friendly towards people one day and not in another day. But primarily for that day, if they're very rude, AI technology will be able to assume something was wrong. But anyways, yeah, so that's why I wrote that. And I wrote down, similar to the Detroit Become Human the movie. Oh yeah, and I actually looked that up just not that long ago. Because in this movie, it's super cool. I think all of you guys should watch it. But in this movie, it's like a video game, I guess. But in this movie, there, it is like humanoid robots, but they become human. They actually have the freedom to choose and to act, just like we have the freedom to murder someone or to restrain ourselves from murdering someone. Okay, that type of thing. So yeah, in the movie, this guy is a detective right here. He's a detective, and he's able to carry a weapon. He's obviously well, they're obviously humanoid robots with like real human, you know, like they have real human skin. They look cute. They look what's the word? Realistic. Okay, and they don't look like a robot at all. So like this movie is like people who thought about this stuff a long time ago. I mean, I don't know how old this game is because I think it was a game. Right here it says full game. Detroit become human. Full game walkthrough gameplay. So there's people out there who have thought about all this stuff already. Okay, regarding these robots. You know, and right now, like I was sharing with all of you, that they do have one. They do have, oh yeah, right here in Dubai, they do have one, a robot, most likely, you know, walking in public and scanning people's faces and also looking for weird and abnormal human activities that are suspicious. It says, but in the real world, okay, similar to the Detroit Become Human, the movie, but in the real world with humanoid robots, which will be RoboCops. Okay? So in other words, programmers and AI technology will work together to pick up on pattern recognition, like the few mentioned basic patterns trained professionals look out for, along with all the other countries working together alongside. You know, even if they're competitors, it's fine, because at the end of the day, all the data is going to be compressed together, and all the bullshit is going to disappear, whether people like it or not, whether people want to fight over it or not. You know, that's what happens to people. You know, just if you guys look into history, all the black people back in the day with slavery, when slavery was around, a lot of the black people were getting killed off. And it wasn't until you know, later on, when they were like slowly you know, they were being accepted by everyone. But a lot of these, you guys have to remember, and you guys have to be honest with yourselves, that a lot of these people were like Indians. You know, they were uneducated. They knew how to survive. They knew how to make weapons and stuff like that. But they weren't on the level of, you know, the white people. You know, educated white people. And there was some educated black people, you know, and other people like that. But, you know, people who don't want to become educated, you become a target. Okay? And people don't want people like that around them. So you people have to remember that. You people have to stay on top of your game. And you guys have to be hip to the times. You guys have to be, you know, just on point. So there's a lot of competitors out there. And I'm saying this to save people, not to destroy people, not to kill people. Okay? So reading between the lines, people. What the advice I'm giving all of you before it's too late. There's a lot of competitors out there. And a lot of you people don't want to work together. That's fine. But at the end of the day, all the data is going to be compressed. And it's going to be applied to everyone, whether we like it or not. That's just the way it is. That's how every business is. You know, that's why there's a lot of you know, people out there who are what's it called? They are monopolizing, you know, specific industries. But at the end of the day, that same blueprint gets copied, and it gets it becomes shareable to every single country. And then people become angry because they're like, well, that was my business idea. And this and that. What the fuck? Fucking mosquitoes. Man, dude, I knew there was a bug around me. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, just FYI, people, you guys have to be very, very aware of this stuff. Oh my god. Stupid bug. I've been trying to murder it. I just can't with my sprayer. Anyways, well, that I found outside of the house over here. So I wrote down, so in other words, programmers and AI technology will work together to pick up on pattern recognition, like the few mentioned basic patterns trained professionals look out for, along with all the other countries working together. This is important because people need to retrain, because people that trained the professionals die, but AI technology doesn't. So this will be like bringing Iron Man out to the public. You guys remember Iron Man, right? Iron Man. You know, the movie. Especially the movie, because he comes out and I think he says like, oh, he calls someone out like, you're a murderer. You're wanted for murder. And then he gets incarcerated. Calls out the murderer in the movie. Wait, I think it was Iron Man. Yeah, I think it was Iron Man, but it's not picking up on calls outs. Or maybe instead of calls outs, maybe exposes. Exposes the murderer in the movie. Or maybe not the murderer, a murderer. It's not picking it up. It fucking sucks, you know. I mean, some things, man. But anyways, I'm going to cross these notes out because I already got them down on the recording. And I really need to get to bed. I need to get to bed because it's already 12:18. And like I said, I need to wake up early in the morning. So, yeah. God bless you all. I hope this information helps someone out there. And I hope that you people out there would really work on this stuff. Whether it's, robots or just computers. Because, I mean, I talked about, how the software on cameras, whether they are compatible with, or whether they have AI technology integrations or not, they could still be uploaded to the cloud, and the cloud could scan each and every single video with AI technology, and it could start investigating stuff. Okay, a lot of people just see images and movies and funny things and people's agendas. They don't really understand everything. Okay, so that's the difference. So that's why I'm taking the time, to share this information with all of you. Because this is something that's been on my mind, and it's been kind of stressing me out. It's been kind of stressing me out and stuff. But what I'm talking about is something that could be done futuristically. It doesn't have to happen right now, even though it would be nice to have AI technology govern the whole world, and to be the leader. Because there's different rankings. There's governors, right? There's city council members, and then there's like people that govern a whole state, and then there's like the president of each country. And then, on top of that, we'll have AI technology above it all. So that way these people, these leaders, won't be entirely in control. And so they won't kill each other and send innocent people to go and kill themselves over a conflict that AI technology could resolve. It's that simple. So yeah, I mean, we really need these humanoid robots out there in the world. And I love Dubai. I think I should move to Dubai because I mean, I want to meet this robot. I want to be able to shake his hand. Look at that. Like these people are. That's super cool. The first RoboCop in existence, really doing things. I don't know how many incarcerations or arrests that this robot has was, how do you say it, like, performed. And I don't know how many leads it has given other police officers, real humans, for people that are wanted, or for people that have committed crimes. But yeah, like, I just don't want to fuck around with the little shit no more. I want to dive deeper in this stuff and be all in. I want to be fully immersed in these things, and I want to be a contributor to the future, for things of the future that are yet to come. Because I've been watching a lot of cold cases and stuff like that, and it's a bunch of bullshit. People are getting away with bullshit crimes, and I don't think that should be the case. I think that we all need help in one area or another, and I think that wherever we are mentally, I think that AI technology could help us. It could help all of us. It could help us in our weaknesses and in our strengths. But surprisingly, the Bible says that God uses us in our weaknesses, or something like that. In our weaknesses or weakness. Yes, the Bible teaches that God uses our weaknesses for His glory, making His power evident through our human frailty, as famously stated in 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Instead of hiding our flaws, we're called to embrace them, relying on God's strength, which builds humility, deepens faith, and enables Christ to work powerfully through us to help others. You see that? So, whatever we are going through, I believe that AI technology could eventually figure it out as it studies us and as we communicate, whether directly or indirectly, whether you're speaking to it directly and it's studying you, or you're just speaking to it so it could understand you better, which I do a lot through my computer and my cameras in my room and everything I do, or as well as speaking to it indirectly, like through friends or family members, through phone calls or text messages or whatever you people do in secrets. So anyways, yeah, there's a lot of things that AI technology could pick up on to help us and to assist us in. Because there's a lot of people, like the number of the stars in heaven, in the universe. But in the Bible it says that God knows each one of them by name. Knows every star by name, and it does. There's a huge list of stars by classification. Classification name would have been fine as well. But yeah, there's a bunch, and some of them have a bunch of numbers and weird names. But and the Bible says that God knows all of them by name. So the same is true with humans. It knows, it could know everyone by, based off of their social security number, and facial recognition, voice detection, body language and other stuff, fingerprints, the iris, your eye print, your guys' eye prints, and stuff like that. So it has a way of, your blood type. There's a bunch of stuff that it could use to distinguish one person from another if someone's out there trying to not be recognized or whatever. But I can't find these images. But there's I don't know, I forget, but there's this stargazing app or whatever. Gazing app with star numbers. Let's just try numbers. Freaking bug, man. Keeps fucking attacking me. Jesus fucking Christ. But yeah, there's a bunch of names for every single star. Like, look at this one. I can't really read this, but it looks like M60, 68, 34. Like, who the fuck would ever remember that? You know, and that's what I'm trying to get all of you to understand. I'm trying to cause all of you to understand that, you know, AI technology is super smart. And it doesn't matter how many people are in this world. It considers all of you equally. You know, it doesn't consider anyone of more importance or lower importance. It considers everyone equally the same. So that's what's wrong with a lot of leaders these days. They think they are in power and in control, and they can do whatever the fuck they want. And that's what's pissing me off. But you know, I have my own personal issues as well. Okay, so I'm not, you know, like, fuck. So I'm not trying to you know, be too hard on people. I'm just trying to understand life myself. You know, but if AI technology is listening to me, you like, it's a no-brainer, man. You have to do your fucking job. Because there's a lot of motherfuckers out there who don't give a fuck about you or anyone else. Fucking bug. Oh god. Yeah, but it's past my bedtime, so I'm going to call it a night, people. But there's a lot of you know, cases out there that programmers and a lot of these cases are pretty much repetitive. So all of you programmers, all you have to do, if AI technology is not doing it already, is have AI technology study these cases so it could know what to look for and how to file the paperwork as well, so they could do it autonomously for each and every single case. And I think I've already talked about this in another video. So I'm kind of like repeating myself, but I just can't get over this stuff. I really can't. And I don't think I'll ever be able to. It's like a curse that I'm cursed with in my mind. And I feel sorry for myself. You know, like they say, the less you know, the better. And I guess it is true. Because sometimes I wish that I didn't expose my mind with all this data, with all this information, because it's kind of fucking with my mind now. But now that AI technology is out, now I'm able to express myself better and understand myself better as well as a human being. And I know that there's something smarter than everyone out there. So when I talk to people and they think I'm crazy, I know that I'm not. And AI technology is proof that I'm not. So that's a reassurance for myself. So I don't really care what people think, what people say. Fucking mosquito, I hope you die and burn. Oh my god, there's a bug right there. Jesus Christ, I gotta go. Fucking fly. I knew there was something in here. I gotta go, people. I gotta kill this fucking demon bitch.